who is going to tell us all about it. Please make her welcome.
Thank you. All right, so hi, I'm Lilian, and I'm going to tell you about this mentorship program called Djangonaut Space. If you want to follow along, go ahead and go to the website. It's Djangonaut.space. So I'm a member of Djangonaut Space. The program helps new contributors get started with contributing to Django and its ecosystem. I was involved in the program throughout last year. I started out as a Djangonaut in session 1. A Djangonaut is a mentee in the program. I was learning the ropes of contributing to Django core, and I had a great experience. I wanted to continue getting involved and help the next cohort of new contributors. I was able to do that by becoming a captain for session 2. A captain is one of the roles for a mentor. As I got more involved, I was curious, how do programs get put together, and how do events happen? And how does one get people together to do things? And I was really lucky to have the opportunity to be a session organizer in session 3, and to not only see how things are run behind the scenes, but be part of the team that keeps things running. And more recently, I worked on an area of the code base that I was really interested in, and I ended up adding support for the AnyValue database function. You could check out the PR if you would like. It hasn't been merged in yet, but it did get that green check mark of approval. I love this mentorship program because of the community that it creates and the impact that it has on individuals. So I'll tell you about the program and how it's structured, and then I'll talk about how the program is helping the community grow, and then I'll take you briefly behind the scenes to see how the session is run, and I'll share a bit about my personal experience, and finally we can talk about where to go from here. So you might be wondering, why do we need a mentorship program for open source? The idea for a mentorship program came about when Rachel Calhoun and Don Wages were on the panel discussion for DjangoCon US 2022, and they realized that there was a gap in the community. There's a generation of people who have worked on Django for a long time, and they have institutional knowledge, and then there's another generation of people who want to contribute, but they don't have the institutional knowledge. And trying to find a way to make contributions on their own is not easy. So Rachel and Don, they were worried that the project might not be sustainable, so they got together and they recruited other founders who were Sarah Abdermain, Sarah Boyce, and Tim Schilling. And together, they created this program to ensure that the framework will be sustainable for years to come. So the goals of the program is to onboard new contributors to Django and the Django ecosystem, and also to empower new contributors to take on leadership roles within Django community and beyond. Here are 4 pillars of the program: accountability, recognition, inclusivity, and empowerment. So the program creates accountability by giving it structure. So it's 8 weeks long, and we have project-based teams. Each team consists of 1 navigator, 1 captain, and 3 to 4 Djangonauts. The navigators, they hold weekly team meetings, and they guide the team on the projects. They point people to the right resources, and they help them get unblocked on their work. The captains, they hold bi-weekly meetings with the Djangonauts, and they guide the Djangonauts in a private setting. Having both the team meeting and the one-on-ones is very important to the program because some people might not feel comfortable bringing issues up in a larger setting. So this structure provides a way for people to have accountability. Recognition. The program celebrates wins, big wins and small wins. It's really important to celebrate them, especially the small ones, because people tend to diminish their work. For example, when Djangonauts start the program, they start working on small PRs so that they could get that quick win. However, some people might feel that they didn't do any work because it's just one line of code that they see. And they might say to themselves, I didn't even do anything. But then we have to remind them that they had to overcome the big hurdle of getting acquainted with the process and working with the whole code base. For example, if you look at Django core, you have to clone the project, you have to install the requirements, you have to install pre-commit, you have to run the tests, learn how to run against the databases, and also, if you're just making a documentation change, you have to figure out how to render the documents locally. And then you have to follow the guidelines on how to write your commit messages properly, too. So there's like a whole process behind this. On top of that, there are also like these discussion forums, and there are discussions on the track tickets. So there's a lot of places with information, and it could be overwhelming. So you might look at the one line of code and think, oh, I just made one small change, but actually there's like a whole bunch of things that came before that. So we have to remind the Djangonauts that they did a lot, and we have to celebrate their wins. We also encourage the Djangonauts to advocate for themselves. Some people might think that their work is trivial and unworthy of mention, or they might feel uncomfortable advocating for themselves because they think it is bragging. But we show them that their work is not trivial, and they are not bragging. When they advocate for themselves, they are sharing what they learned, and other people can learn from them too. Inclusivity. So the program establishes a warm and welcoming environment from the very beginning. People come from all over the globe with different levels of experiences and different cultural background. There are people with years of Django development under their belt, and there are university students getting started in their careers. There are participants from Australia, South Korea, Italy, Uruguay. We want everyone to have a seat at the table. People should feel comfortable bringing their ideas and participating in discussions. Sometimes it is the new people who see a clear and simple solution that the experienced people don't see. So normalizing phrases like, I don't know, but let's learn together, is a way to create this inclusivity. Empowerment. To empower people, the program has people sending DMs to the participants. A simple DM like this one can make a huge difference. You can reach out to someone and say, hey, have you considered getting involved with the accessibility working group? I think you would be great at it. I have received several messages like this one. Even applying to the program, I received a message like this. And if I had not received a message like this, I was actually on the fence and leaning towards not doing something because I would think, maybe not, I'm not qualified for this, or no one wants me to do this, or no one wants me here. And I remember during the program, when I started receiving these messages, it got me to change the way I approach new opportunities. Someone is telling me that they believe in me, or that I should at least give it a try, because how else would I know if I don't try? It's really empowering. More recently, I got a message telling me this. Hey, have you considered submitting a talk proposal for DjangoCon US? The deadline is Sunday, May 4th. You can look at this as glass half empty and say, I don't have anything to share. Or you can look at this as glass half full and say, I actually did a lot this year. I want to connect with others who are also interested in the things I've done. Hint, hint, the deadline is May 4th. One of the valuable assets of the program are the workbooks. The navigators, captains, and Djangonauts all have workbooks. For the navigators and captains, their workbooks include resources on how to be a great mentor. It includes tips on holding effective meetings and getting discussions going. It also includes tips for how to handle difficult situations. For Djangonauts, their workbooks are very rich in resources too, and it's broken down by the week. For each week, there's a section where the Djangonauts can write out what they want to achieve. And then there's also a section where they can log their progress. The navigators and captains can check the Djangonauts workbooks as a way to prepare for the meeting so they have topics for discussions. And then there's also a section for learning materials, and this is what is really rich. It includes links to articles and videos on many different topics, including how to write blogs, how to use Django ASV package to run benchmarks, how to set up and test against Orgo, and many more. So, growing the community. So here are some of the projects that have gone through the program. We have Django Core, of course, and then within Django Core, there is a team that specializes in accessibility. There's also Django CMS, which has participated in 3 sessions, and there's Django Debug Toolbar, which has participated in 2 sessions. There's also Django Packages, Django Tagit, Django Unicorn. One really cool thing about the program is that it inspires other programs. For example, one of the Djangonauts who was working on Django CMS wanted to continue working on the project, and so Django CMS created an internship to support their work. So if you have experience contributing to Django, or you maintain a Django package, and you would like to get involved with Djangonaut Space, consider being a navigator. Do get in touch with us. We're always looking for navigators. There's a lot of work getting done as part of the program. So here are some of the counts of the PRs that were being opened and merged throughout the sessions. This is not counting the work that people have done when they come back after they finish the program. And it's also not counting the uptick in contributions that we see from navigators and captains when they are also participating too. Many Djangonauts have gone on to take on leadership positions. These are just some of the examples of Djangonauts taking leadership positions within the Django community. I haven't even included the other forms of leadership roles beyond Django. If you want to learn more from other participants' perspectives, definitely check out this page on the website. It's under the media section, and it has a lot of links to other people's experiences. Okay, so for organizing, I want to take you behind the scenes to give you a sense of what the effort looks like. So preparation starts 6 to 8 weeks before the session begins. And during this time, organizers are recruiting navigators and captains. That means they're reaching out to people, conducting interviews, onboarding them, and making sure the navigators and captains embody the 4 pillars mentioned earlier. Once the captains and navigators are confirmed, then the projects are in place, and the applications for the Djangonauts are open for a few weeks. And then once the applications are closed, then the organizers get ready to grade the applicants on a rubric, make the selections, and start to form the teams. It's also during this time that we recruit and confirm guest speakers. As the program gets started and gets going, then we're there to provide support, and we're always there to provide recognition and celebrate the wins. When someone opens a PR and makes a merge, or they give a talk, or they organize a local event or a major conference, we celebrate that. We have a Discord server, and that's where we celebrate all of that. We also send out surveys and collect feedback and use that feedback to improve the program. We're also hosting a lot of events, such as co-working sessions, watch parties, deep space dialogues, cosmic contributors, space reviews, collaborative writing, and the showcase. So here I have some screenshots just to show you how we keep track of the work that people do. We keep track of them by labeling the PRs and the issues in GitHub. This makes it really quick to see what's going on. All right, so I'll share a bit of my personal experience. You might have seen this description. Djangonaut Space is an 8-week program. I want to tweak that a little bit and think of it as An 8-week program is just the beginning of Djangonaut Space. So for my experience as a Djangonaut, I was finding my voice through publishing blog posts and participating in discussions. And as a captain, I started to learn to reach out to others and to encourage them. As a session organizer, I was able to bring an idea to the table and run with it. And I want to talk about the idea, this showcase event in particular, because there's a story I want to tell you about it. So the showcase event, it was this lightning talk style format that we had where the Djangonauts could sign up for 5-minute time slots to talk about their experiences and share their knowledge. And we scheduled 2 events within a day to accommodate the time zones and people's schedules. And people could attend either one of those events, or they could attend both. And there was one Djangonaut who attended an event. They didn't sign up for a talk, but after the first event ended, they messaged me privately and said, "Hey, I was really inspired by the talks that my colleagues gave. Would you be able to slot me in? I know this is last minute, but would you be able to slot me in for some time for the next event?" And that made me really excited. But then it made me really excited because someone had the courage to ask at the very last minute to give a talk. It also made me a bit nervous because of the time constraints. I had all the time slots figured out, and to slot someone in, that was nerve-wracking. But then I slotted them in, and the event went really well. And so this really sticks out to me because for someone to come into an event not wanting to talk and then come out of the event realizing that they wanted to share what they know as well. I'm really excited because this is you're starting to see the ripple effect of the program where you have the maintainers and the organizers helping new contributors. And then the new contributors, they start getting involved with the program too. And they help the next cohort of contributors. And I think this makes the community so much stronger because it's fostering individuals who are now feeling empowered to take action. And this is just my experience, and it's just one example. So if you check out that media section that I referred you to, you'll see a lot more. So I hope this was informative, and I hope you're excited about the program. If you're new to open source, and you want to get involved, follow the socials, and you can get notified when the next application is open. If you're a longtime maintainer of a Django package and you want to get involved as a navigator, please do get in touch. And if you're a community leader and you're looking for ideas on mentorship programs or something similar, feel free to reach out to the organizers and talk. Thank you. So if you have any questions about Djangonaut Space, feel free to chat with me afterwards.
Thank you, Lilian. That was wonderful.